Up, Stephen Johnson Stocks, coming at you fresh off a trip of late nights and early mornings. It was a nice all expenses paid trip from the employers to Barcelona, so it was epic, really grateful for that. And I also had a great week in the stock market, made about 800 this week, up nearly 1,000 on the month so far in the first 10 trading days or whatever it is, 8 trading days. And I've been on a really decent run, and it's simply from risking only $100, keeping tight to risks, and letting winners run a lot more, and taking smaller positions to let the runners run a lot more, and only trading really the best setups. And I've been trading really once a day, twice a day, and not a lot more than that. So basically slowly making the money back that I'd lost from that trade about 8 weeks ago. I lost 5k, and feeling very positive. I've learned a lot, and what I've really learned is don't trade too big where you're uncomfortable. Cut your losses tighter, let your winners run more. I mean, it's such standard shit, but it's weird. You have to live the process to adapt and grow through it. So enjoy. What's up, guys? Jeevan here. And it's been a really good run. I mean, up $916, with an average of 83%, and it's really comes from taking smaller positions, only going for the $100, $150 wins, and letting your winners run more. And then what kind of happens is you're never uncomfortable in a trade because you're not in too big size, and I've been having these really consistent days. Like 65 is a bit of a nothing day, but then had a couple of nice trades where I had a couple of $200 winners, which I only thought would be maybe $100 winners, and then another kind of a nothing day, and then another decent day where a stock where you think you'll make 100 or 120 on, you end up making like 226 on, because it's a bit of that, and it's a bit of, instead of averaging up, say I'm shorting something and I go down and I average up on my position. A lot of the times now I'll short once and I'll average when I'm profitable. So I'll average down when I'm already in profit. So I'm risking a lot less. And I mean, for now it's working. I'm trading much more sensibly and less. And it's very good to get back on track. And hopefully these 2 red months are a blip, and I can continue to get a lot more successful and prove that I can be a successful long-term profitable trader throughout the coming months and years. Super straightforward. I mean, it's just a gap and crap. I play them over and over and over. On this day here, we can mark it out, and we can see that it's kind of done the same thing here, and then it's kind of got this failed spike here. So we can definitely see that there's a history of this stock doing it before. I mean, and it's kind of got this death drop, this bad sushi chart as well. So, I mean, it's very much shareholders are all underwater, and pretty much from this level here and before in the 790s. So when it's dropped 4 times its share price down to the 2s, we know that the stock it's not a good stock, and 2, it's quite likely that this is going to gap and crap. And when you check the recent report that I've done, which is on sale for $40 plus the XL $40, you will see from the data that these stocks that go up 70-80% fail. It's me textbook #1 short. So I was short. If we still have it on Excel, I mean, I'll just make this a bit smaller. This was my trade, $250. Entry was 311. Exit was 287. Just 1,100 shares, like $2,000 position. Me entry was 311. So I was pretty much shorting into this spike here, and I had an ADA 340. I was gutted. I didn't get executed, but we'll take it on 1 minute. And quite shockingly, I was out at 287, and I really don't know how I ended up being out at 287 when I could have took it all the way down to the 250s and kind of the 240s. So I really left a ton on the table. Should have easily been $500, $600, $700 here. And it's just putting the math together over and over and over, especially with these. I mean, I presume, yeah, it's a healthcare. It's not really a biotech, but it's a healthcare stock that's failing. And if it breaks high of day, you get out. If it doesn't, you don't. The risk reward is, I mean, if you're short in the 320s, 330s, 310s, 320s, 330s, you're out in the 340s. Your average is, say, the 320s, but you can take down to the 250s. So you're risking 20, 30 cents to make 60, 70, 80 cents. And this happens 70% of the time if you've got me data. This one, I mean, this one maybe you can say was a little more luck, but it was total technical analysis. I mean, I was just looking at a 1-year chart, and I was just looking at kind of the last times it spiked, and if we just use the arrows, had some big volume here, and it gave back all of its gains. It popped from the 150s to the 180s, give it all back, even from the 140s to the 180s, and give it back. And then it had a little bit of volume here, popped, ended up red on the day, had some volume here, actually finished green, but it didn't have a big update. So the next day was the update, and it had a big wick here, and it gave back most of its highs. And then here it gave back some of its highs. It's very much a downtrending chart, so I'm kind of just making a few observations that generally when it spikes on volume, it gives back its highs. It's got a history of doing it. But granted, this was unprecedented volume. Well, it ran a mil, and then this time it ran 10 mil. So it is unprecedented volume for this stock, which is a bit of a scary sign, and it's something you should always watch. But I was thinking, look, by the time it had gone from the 75s to the 130s, it was up 80% on the day. And generally when stocks run, they kind of have 2 or 3 waves. So it kind of had this wave up here. I can mark it out for you, but I mean, we can kind of see it. Had this first wave here, and then it kind of had this halt in this second wave here. And then obviously it had its first wave here. So first wave, pullback, second wave, pullback, third wave. And if you look, kind of, this was a strong wave, this was a strong wave, then this was kind of just a lot of volume and topping, which made me think, yeah, it's probably had 3 waves and it's done. And it's got a history of filling its spikes, and it's kind of 80% up on the day. So when it had this kind of first pullback, it wasn't even here. It started kind of spiking up here to the 125s, and when it was kind of hovering around here and not having any kind of pickup, I started in short in the 118. So my entry was pretty much here, risking off kind of the 126s, because I was just like, this isn't looking too strong. And obviously I was thinking, will it crack here? But I was holding for like the 101s. I was always thinking it might not crack 1, but I'll take 101 because it's in the other whole dollar. And it kind of came back, and I had a few nail-biting moments at 126 where I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to cut it. And I didn't want to be stuck with that decision where I was like, I was literally given 5%, and then it could come down any second. But kind of had the double top, and then it came all the way down, and I was out 101. I actually got pretty much the only shares that come through at 101 here. This little wick is my covers. I was super lucky. I got all off but 200. I covered the last 200 at 102. And then I kind of came back. Could have been a reshort here, but there was no shares before kind of came back down to 101. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys back with Junk Does Penny Stocking on something like Tuesday or Wednesday. And we have a new podcast coming out today. Not a lot more. I'm super dead, getting some rest before I have to go back to work. I'm recording this after the flight, and I've got work in 6 hours. So I'm going to try and get my head down, get some sleep, and dream about money, success, women, fame, glory, and making the most of only having one fucking shot at this life. And as Bruce Springsteen says it, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Boom.